Hey y'all, what's up? Coach Hyde coming at you this morning. Just want to review the vocab words from yesterday. We're starting off Unit 2. Remember, we're talking about macromolecules this unit, which are lipids, carbohydrates, proteins, and nucleic acids. Macromolecules means big molecules. They're still pretty small. You can't really see them, like one piece you can't see. But in terms of molecules, molecular structure, they're pretty complex. Got a lot of pieces. They're pretty big. So just kind of going over a couple of vocab we need to kind of set ourselves up for success that we'll be using to kind of, discuss these things, which went over in class the other day, but if you missed it, here you go. So first word is polymerization, right? So this is the action of making polymers. All right, so polymers are macromolecules. Now, macromolecules being any big molecule, right? One kind of class of macromolecules is polymers. All right, and that's what we're talking about now. And a polymer is a macromolecule, but the only thing about it specifically is that it's like a repeating unit, right? It's built by adding a bunch of things together. And these things that we're adding together are called monomers. So monomers are like the base unit or the subunit of the polymer. So, if we're talking about a polymer as a carbohydrate, as a big sugar or whatnot, then the monomer of that would be like the little simplest forms of sugar that come together and make up more complex sugars. And the more complex sugar being the polymer. You can think about it as maybe like an apartment complex, where the polymer is the entire apartment complex, and each little apartment or each big apartment, whatever, each apartment piece is a monomer. And as you add those different apartments together, as you add those monomers together, as you bond them, you end up with the entire apartment complex. There's one way to kind of look at it. So these are the building blocks or the subunits of polymers. Polymerization is the process of bonding monomers together to become polymers. Two other kind of words we'll use, we'll come across is, let's start with an S. Saturated. Saturated just means full. Means it can't hold anymore. It can under certain conditions, but essentially it is absolutely full, right? It doesn't have a little room left. It's not over full. It's just completely full. The way you kind of think about this is, say you're watering a plant, right, in a pot. So as you start watering the plant, the water is going to be absorbed by the dirt, right, because the dirt is not full, right? It's undersaturated. And then as you add it, it fills up the dirt. Eventually, it hits that point where it's perfectly full, right? Any more water you add to it is just going to puddle up. You make a mud puddle. It's going to sit on top or whatever. So this is what saturated means, just completely full. Another word is saccharide. You can have monosaccharides, disaccharides, trisaccharides. So there might be some prefixes attached to this, but essentially saccharide is just a word for sugar. Sugar. What else is there? Okay. All right, two words here. All right, both of these words are dealing with hydro, right? Which is water. Both of these words are dealing with water. So now you got to kind of look at the other prefixes, suffixes available, figure it out. We have this word here, synthesis. All right, synthesis just means to make. If you synthesize something, you make it, right? It's not naturally occurring. It might be a naturally occurring process, but for example, motor oil and synthetic motor oil, both of them might be 10W30, right? Whereas one is natural, filtered, distilled, refined process, I don't know, regular motor oil. And then synthetic would be man created. All right, so synthesis means to make. So we got the D. All right, so we're going to make something. We're going to make a compound. We're going to make a bond, and the byproducts are going to be water. So there's carbon, or there's hydrogens and oxygens in there, and we're going to remove those out when we're making something. And so we're making something by removing water, basically. Removing water, making something. This one has this suffix here, which means to lyse. When we talk biologically about lyse something, we mean to split, break, rupture, destroy, essentially. So hydrolysis is going to react with water to break down, to tear apart. But yeah, there's 2 words there. I think that's it. Let me see my list. All right, yep, that's it. Last one we'll come across is, you might see this. All right, that's how I like to write it. You might even actually see it, something like this right here. All this is referring to is activation energy. So it's just a little energy you need to kind of jumpstart something to make it start. Yeah, just that little push, a little bit of energy. And we'll see this on graphs, we'll talk about it later, but I just wanted to make sure you knew what those symbols mean when you come across them. All right, see y'all in a little bit.